A jigsaw puzzle is something that you were children once upon a time, weren't you? And you did play with jigsaw puzzles. A jigsaw puzzle is something in which you have lots of bits and pieces, each one with a little picture or part of a picture. And you have to use some measure of insight to put the pieces together. By studying each individual piece, and if you succeed in putting all the pieces together, then you will see the whole picture. A number of things are coming together at this particular time. One of them is the financial crash, in which the crash of the US dollar takes pride of place. As Dr. Mira just said, Allahu Alam, Allah knows best, and when we give an opinion, and we are entitled to give an opinion, we can be right, we can be wrong. The US dollar is now in a place called ICU, in a hospital, intensive care unit. It has actually expired and is being kept alive artificially by this pump that they use. You see the chest going up and down. But the plug is soon going to be pulled, and then it will be pronounced dead. And the US government knows that very well. That if Israel attacks Iran, that's it. The link between oil and the dollar, as Dr. Mira just explained, if the price of oil shoots up, the implication is that the US dollar is heading down. And they know that an attack on Iran is going to be the final nail in the coffin for the US dollar. That's why the United States does not want Iran to be attacked, my opinion. But Israel wants to attack Iran. Among the reasons is to bring about the collapse of the US dollar. If the US dollar collapses, then automatically the US economy will crash. Remember, this is the international currency. In the same way that its predecessor, the sterling pound, when we were children at school, was the international currency. Today the US dollar is the international currency. There is going to be such massive financial loss in the United States in particular. White America losing most of its wealth, and black America doesn't have much. They got peanuts. That you can close your eyes and anticipate panic in the United States of America and riots in the United States of America. They might have to declare martial law in the United States. A number of things are taking place at the same time now. And I want to introduce you to some of these pieces of the jigsaw puzzle, so we can try to put them together. I don't have to repeat what Dr. Mira has I don't know how he did it, so brilliantly. Put all those pieces of the economic and monetary jigsaw puzzle together. but I have to expand on what he just gave to us. Additional to the economic and financial and monetary crisis of the moment, there's something else happening since 9/11. A proliferation of wars in different parts of the world, mostly the world of Islam. And if you notice something, in nearly all of these wars, or in fact in all of these wars, it is Uncle Sam. It is Uncle Sam who has to send his troops most of all. The American military is involved up to its throat. Yes, there is help from NATO, from the rest of NATO. And there is a pocket of presence support from Japan and from Australia and from other places, but that's token support. But the brunt of the fighting is being done by the American military. I want to suggest to you that the economic and financial crash is coming at a time when an American military crash is also going to take place. It's not just the US dollar that's going to crumble. No. That the United States has been led by its nose to a trap where it will overextend itself. And the one that is leading the United States, I hope they're listening to me in the American Armed Forces, the one who is leading the United States to a military trap are the Zionists who control the US Congress and the State of Israel. If Iran, there's a lecture I delivered maybe 1 week ago in Tamantun, Dr. Ismail, which is on YouTube, implications of a Zionist-Israeli attack on Iran, in which I have explained the subject in much greater detail, and we can mention here today that as soon as Israel attacks Iran, and I am anticipating that Israel would not want to deliver a knockout blow to Iran, because Israel wants Iran to remain strong. Why? Because Israel knows that Iran is going to respond by attacking the American troops in Iraq, where Iran has the advantage of geographical position. And Iran has a second advantage of the majority of the population of Iraq will be supporting Iran, because they are Shia. And even the Sunni in Iraq would want to use this opportunity to deliver the death blow to the United States in particular, and to NATO in Iraq. And so the implication of an Israeli attack on Iran is that the United States is going to be back to the wall in Iraq, fighting for survival. A different methodology, where I'm using, if you'll excuse me, spiritual insight to try to put the pieces together to make a meaningful whole. That the black oil, the black gold or oil, as soon as it was discovered anywhere in the world, the Zionists immediately made sure they took control of it. Everywhere in the world that oil was discovered, the Zionists ensured they took control of it. They even had control of Venezuela's oil until Hugo Chavez came along. They even had control of Iran's oil. And they engineered a coup d'etat to overthrow Mohammad Mossadegh so that they can recover control over that oil until the Iranian Revolution came along and they lost control of that oil. Why did they want to take control of oil, the Zionists? because oil became the machinery of a new world economy, an industrial economy. It made the factories work. It gave us transportation. You are now hooked onto oil for transportation. You are now hooked onto oil and to fertilizers for agriculture. You are hooked onto oil for industrial manufacturing. You can't do without oil. And the day that you don't have oil, you're going to have riots. So guess what's going to happen now when Israel attacks Iran? That's why he said the believers should not touch it. Meaning, do not allow yourself to become dependent on that oil, because it's a trap. I remember an engineer in Lahore in Pakistan. He's passed away now, may Allah have his mercy on his soul, who established an engineering company in Lahore, British trained engineer. And he said to me, all that we wanted to do was to explore the use of solar energy for running fans, for fans to operate. Pakistan is a hot country. And if we could succeed in using solar energy for fans, we would cut the import bill on oil for Pakistan. So every home has fans. And he says, as soon as my company went to work on this project, the World Bank and the IMF sprang into action and came down on the government of Pakistan to force our company to abandon this project. Meaning, they did not want us to escape from the trap of dependence on oil. And so now the trap is about to be sprung. Escalating prices of oil as soon as Iran is attacked. And Iran is a major producer of oil, but in addition to that, Iran sits in control of the Straits of Hormuz. The Persian Gulf, all the oil tankers have to pass there. Straits of Hormuz is very narrow. On one side is Iran, on the other side is Oman. And the time has now arrived in the process of history where, after having created Britain as the first ruling state with something that they call Pax Britannica, and then having caused or engineered the collapse of Britain and its replacement with the United States of America as the second ruling state in the world, with something that they call Pax Americana. When Israel takes over from the United States, and the financial crash and the economic crash and the military crash and the hatred for the United States around the world and so on are all part of the agenda to bring down the United States. When Israel takes over from the United States and the world, then Israel must establish its political and economic dominion over the whole world. And the first people that have to rule will be the Arabs, of course. Otherwise no Jew will accept this as a ruling state. And so the Arab Spring has come at this time to facilitate the wars that Israel will have to wage in order to subdue the Arab world and establish an Israeli political and economic dominion over the Arab world.